You mightn't think that the words we use are important, but even the most subtle differences can completely change the meaning of what we're saying. Elizabeth Stokoe analyses police interrogation interviews. In her TED Talk, she uses the example of a police officer who asks the suspect, "Did you push her to the ground?" To which the suspect responds, "She fell on the lawn." There are two things here. Aside from the push versus a fall, landing on the lawn implies a much softer landing than the ground suggested by the police officer. So you can see that these subtle differences in the language actually changes the meaning quite a bit. The way we describe ourselves and the world has consequences and can actually make life harder for us. For example, sometimes I say things like "I always make mistakes" because I tend to use language that's a bit colourful, especially when I'm angry or frustrated. But saying stuff like this doesn't help me. In fact, it makes me feel worse. First, it's kind of a depressing thought that I'm forever doomed in a cycle of making mistakes. And second, it shuts down opportunities to grow, since if I always make mistakes, why bother trying? But there's a magic bullet here that can instantly change this story. By making these statements just a little less extreme, or a bit more tentative or realistic, it changes how it feels entirely. I'm not denying the facts of the situation I'm in. The point is not to act like it's all good all the time. That's not true. But neither is it true that people or events are all bad all the time. And when we go to such extremes, we shut down possibilities. Putting that more tentative word "sometimes" in there gives me a glimmer of hope. It removes the idea that there's something about me that makes mistakes inevitable for me no matter what. And it also suggests that maybe there's something different about those times when I'm making mistakes. And maybe that gives me a clue for how I could fix it if I wanted to. The good news is that this is a skill like any other that you can learn and practice.